So, in my previous video, I did promise everyone that I would make a part 2 on Rupert Lowe's Restore Britain promises to the people of the UK, and I just solely focused on one of the many things that Rupert Lowe was promising the people of the UK, which is castle doctrine or the right for self-defence in the UK. And I added on top of that that it should be even more extreme, in my opinion, that we should be allowed to carry firearms for public and private self-defence, aka the British Second Amendment. Now, I said throughout that whole video that I think I'm the only person in the UK who is willing to say this out loud, who genuinely believes that firearms are for good or not for bad, and we should have the right to defend ourselves in how we see fit, even with firearms. And I thought I was the only person in the UK who said this and thought this. My God, you proved me wrong in the comment sections. The overwhelming response of people just going, yep, I've always wanted this, I've agreed with this as well, 100% we should do this. I've been a victim of crime myself. I've had someone break into my home and assault my family, and I've been the one arrested for defending my home, which again, I'm so sorry to those people that have been through that. The justice system is non-existent for the British people anymore. I'm sorry to hear that. And I've had people in the comments who have served to also say that yes, people should have the right to defend themselves with firearms. So for the overwhelming explosive response to that video in a positive light, thank you so much. Again, I've never seen views or likes or comments or subscribes or people sharing the video or even going and following me on my other platforms like Discord and X, linked in the pinned top comment by the way. Again, thank you so much, it is greatly appreciated. I feel like I've now genuinely got a little community of other people who share similar ideas about self-defence in the UK. I know I also said within that video that I'll respond to everyone as fast as I can who leaves a comment, but when you get over 1,000 comments, yeah, there's only so much a man can read and respond to.
Is that all you got, nigga?
Oh, no, nigga. That's just the tip of this iceberg. Read, nigga! Read!
So, enough of the previous video, let's get right into this one. So, there's 3 main topics that I would like to talk about, which is restore the death penalty, defund the BBC, and of course deport all illegal immigrants as well. Now, there have been other things that they've dropped, however, for the sake of sanity, I'm just going to cover the first 3 things, so let's get right into this. I'm going to zoom in right now. If you want to pause and read because I don't have the voice of David Attenborough, feel free to do so. But to summarise this very quickly, now bringing back the death penalty for the most extreme cases such as Axel Rudikabana, the Southport killer, again with the man behind the Manchester Arena bombing whose name is Hashbrown Adobe Software, there we go, that's what I'm going to call him. If I tried to pronounce his name properly, I'm more than sure I would have been hit with the online hate bill as well, the same thing that Count Dankula was hit with. Now, I see the death penalty as a double-edged sword. One side is positive and the other side is negative. Let's look at the positive first. Do people like Axel Rubik's or Hashbrown Adobe Software or even Lucy Letby deserve the death penalty for the crimes they've committed? 100% for sure. I believe once you've crossed that line to the point where you're never going to recover or you're never going to be able to make up for the crimes that you've committed, you have gone too far to the point of zero recovery in any way, shape or form. That's it, you'd get deported from this realm of existence, so to speak. And I really do feel like this should be extended towards people who prey on women, child predators, and just people who are just very violent individuals, people who are just cannot fit into society and just pose a non-stop 24/7 danger to the people of said area. Once you've gotten to that stage or you've committed a crime where there's no coming back from that, instant just hung for your crimes. However, the other thing that I think about when it comes to the death penalty is, could you imagine if somebody like two-tier Commie Key or Stalin Stasi Spazzy Starmer had access to the death penalty during the Southport riots? If we talk from a point where we never got rid of it in the early 1960s, I think it was, that the death penalty was removed from the UK. Imagine if that was just not the case whatsoever and the death penalty was just kept. I'm more than sure Keir Starmer would have sent thousands of white British people to an early grave via the death penalty during the Southport riots. And also, could you imagine people like Hamza Useless or Pakistani Mr. Bean Sadiq Khan, who also had access to the death penalty as well, and been able to manipulate what classifies or what justifies the death penalty towards the crimes that you have committed, such as hate speech. Yeah, I think there would have been probably tens upon tens of thousands of white British people would have just been offed overnight with these types of monsters in power. This is the thing about the death penalty. I am more in favour of allowing us to come back to the UK because I genuinely do think we need it. Again, apparently it's costing £55,000 a year of the taxpayers' money. I think that's grossly underestimated per prison cell each year. But it's costing a lot of money. These people still get luxuries in prison. Again, it was a little news article from about a month ago was talking about how Axel Rubik's Cube Banana, the Southport attacker, was still entitled to luxuries in Belmarsh prison such as Pringles and Maltesers, which again just beyond blows my mind that that's even allowed, even though he's one of the worst British criminals in British history, and he's allowed to have such luxuries still to this day. And again, it's costing a lot of money. These people do deserve to just be offed, essentially, and I think that's definitely the way we need to go going forward. But at the same time, if Rupert Lowe were by some miracle become the next Prime Minister of the UK and he kept his promise, and yes, he did restore the death penalty, he can't be Prime Minister forever. Someone's going to have to replace him at some point. And could you imagine the Labours or the Conservatives, Tories, the Lib Dems or the Green Party, or just an outright socialist or communist party having access to this? Yeah, I'm not a fan of that, so I'm a bit conflicted as a whole, but if I had to choose, yes, I think bringing back the death penalty to deal with these absolute monsters, and anyone else who's just preys upon the innocent of people should 100% have this treatment flung towards them. So we're going to move over to the second one, which is defund the BBC. This is something that I think is naturally going to happen whether or not we agree or disagree, because I feel like the downfall of the BBC is inevitable at this point. Again, I'll zoom in right now if you want to read this. Again, very quickly, you know, the amount of people getting prosecuted for not paying their TV license, even though they may not watch TV to begin with, is absolutely beyond disgusting. Again, on a weekly basis, I am getting threatening letters myself from the TV licensing people because I refuse to respond. And it's getting to the point where the envelope and the letter itself is in bright red to try and warn me how much danger I am in. Ooh, I'm so fucking scared. Ooh, not. And the fact that the BBC has made nothing good in God knows how many years, they have completely and utterly destroyed the most popular things that the BBC had ever made, such as Robot Wars, Top Gear, and of course Doctor Who as well. I've made a couple of videos on Doctor Who. If you want to go check them out, feel free to. My god, that 60th anniversary video, I had the entire Reddit community in my comment section. Literally, they were saying, I'm going to downvote your video. Oh, you're from Reddit. Yeah, you're mentally ill. But anyway, the BBC has not made anything good whatsoever, and all they've done with the taxpayers' money is completely wasted on woke DEI nonsense that nobody wants to consume, hence the destruction of a lot of their most popular TV shows. The propaganda that they're putting out, people are getting sick to death of this Farquhar level of treatment, of having this rammed down your throat against your will, and the BBC even outright blaming people for the problems in the UK, and it's always white British people. In fact, I don't know if any of you have saw it recently, but they've been releasing news articles saying the absolute benefits and wonders of marrying your cousin and inbreeding, and also why paedophilia is not a bad thing, and I should know, because the person who wrote that article is one himself. When it comes to the BBC, I think they should be the last people speaking about the positivity, the benefits of paedophilia. I just, like, no. Sorry, no, there is no benefit, there's no positivity. Again, speaking of the death penalty, again, I'm just saying, the BBC is absolutely just cannibalising itself at this point, and if any of you have been watching my previous Doctor Who video that I made about 3 months ago, it's already been announced that Disney was the one 100% financially funding the 2 seasons that Ncuti Gatwa was for the Doctor, and they've cut the funding off. They're no longer getting the $100 million again to make 2 more seasons. The BBC does not generate any money, and I think in the next 2 or 3 years the government will just completely cut all money to the BBC to be basically tax funded. They can't survive this in any way, shape or form. The only thing that they can do is turning to Netflix or Disney Plus or Paramount Plus or HBO or Now TV streaming services. Who's going to pay for that? People despise the BBC in every way, shape or form, and rightfully so. You cannot hate the BBC enough in any way, shape or form. Nobody's going to sign up to pay $9.99 or $19.99 or £24.99 to watch transgender gabba gooba aliens from the fourth dimension fight a woke black trans lesbian semi-bisexual doctor. No one's going to pay money to watch that in any way, shape or form. So should we defund the BBC? 100%. Will this come naturally one way or another? Yeah, it pretty much will. I don't think the BBC is going to survive any length of time, and I think the downfall of the BBC is absolutely inevitable, and I don't see them surviving till 2030. I absolutely 100% don't. Again, forcing taxpayers to pay a license, and if they don't, they send their thug ghouls to your door. You can just tell them to piss off. They have literal zero legal authority. Just tell them to piss off. Especially up here in Scotland, you can't force entry under most circumstances. So again, just tell them to piss off and so on and so forth. But yeah, the BBC, again, a history with paedophilia, a history with abuse, a history with disregarding safety on sets. Again, hence with Top Gear, with Freddie Flintoff on Top Gear, who got his face ripped off during a car crash in the 2020s of Top Gear, which is what finally killed that show off as well. The complete failure to listen to the British people, blame the British people for all the problems, call them racist, bigots, far-right evil, Zionist, homophobic, Islamophobic, misogynist, and so on and so forth. And again, with them constantly claiming that black people built Stonehenge, that they built Britain, that Vikings were black people as well, which I find quite funny, because according to their logic, then it was a bunch of black people who come over to Scotland and raped all of our women, and now I'm a product of a black raping the whitest person on the planet. Yeah, it doesn't make sense as well, and also them claiming that 1/3 of black people were also wiped out during the 3rd century of the UK due to the plague. There was 3 black people in the UK. One of them died. They failed to mention that. They just said 1/3 of all black people, because again, these things just target black people apparently solely, which is beyond bullshit. Yeah, the BBC needs to go, and it's going to happen by force or naturally. They cannot survive under any circumstances. No one's funding them. They're going to get their money cut from the taxpayer whatsoever. No one's going to sign up to their subscription service when they're forced against their will to change to that service. Death is nigh for them, and honestly, it can't come too soon. Fuck the BBC. Anyway, deporting all illegal immigrants. Again, this is something that's been an extremely hot topic within the UK for sure, and as I think it's about time that this does go through. Again, I'll zoom in right now if you want to pause and read this. The amount of money this is costing the taxpayer every single year, I think, is literally incalculable. We have numbers up here. I think they're completely underplaying it. I think it's within the hundreds of billions. In fact, once you've calculated in every single little penny imaginable, I wouldn't be surprised if it's over $1 trillion a year in the UK. Again, we've had stats very recently come out that over £1 billion is claimed in benefits by foreigners each month in the UK as well. And it's not just within the whole financial crisis that this is causing, again, causing a housing shortage, because they're all putting 4-star, 5-star hotels and penthouses in London and really luxurious houses up and down the UK and many other things as well, including the UK government hiring out third-party contractors to hire out every single bedroom in Airbnbs, hotels, motels, whatever you want to call it, and just put the illegal immigrants in there as well, and even outright buying apartments and houses for them to live in. So it's causing those problems as well. But as I say, it's not just all the financial crimes as well, it's also the sheer level of violence that has skyrocketed in the UK. I'm about to say something really spicy, which is going to make you think. Mass immigration, legally or illegally, has become such an absolute beyond problem with these third worlders. They've actually stolen crime off the British people. Anytime you hear about a drug raid or a weapon smuggling of any description, anything down that line, it's always newsagents, it's always Turkish barbershops, it's always those American candy shops up and down the UK. Every single crime and every single gangster and every single organisation within the underworld is always always foreigners one way or another, whether it be Pakistanis or Indians or Middle Eastern or Muslims or whatever it may be. It's always these types of people now, and crime has just gone up and up through the roof, and it really has doubled or tripled overnight since the Boris wave started. Sorry, I coughed there, but this is absolutely 100% needing to be dealt with, and I've been saying this for a long time. I think anyone who's here illegally shouldn't have basic human rights. Human rights are for the legal, law-abiding citizens of said country, hence why we've built these human rights laws for our own, because they do differ from country to country. The fact that these people are allowed to force their way, invade illegally into the UK, then demand not only that they get the same equal rights, but they get even more human rights as a whole than the natives, whether it be the UK or France or Germany or Spain or whatever it may be, is just an absolute beyond disgusting betrayal of the actual British people. And the fact that these people come over here, get all the luxuries in the world, the brand new iPhones, brand new hotels, they stay in 4 or 5 star hotels, get brand new clothing, get an insane amount of benefits out of the gate as well. Once they commit a really heinous crime, they barely get punished. We can't deport these people because he would be forced to shave his beard, or he's spared jail time because his wife doesn't speak English, which these are all true things that have happened as well. I think if you're here illegally, get out instantly, just forced onto a £9 EasyJet flight, get out, don't care where you go, get out. I also think anyone who came here illegally but also got legal British citizenship, so they're now legally allowed to be here, deport them as well. You have invaded this country, you came over here by force, you're getting all these luxuries, and you've probably committed several crimes because about 90% plus of them do. Get out, 100% get out. We are sick to death of you as well. And I think there should be a zero tolerance for foreign invasion in any way, shape or form. And I know a lot of people have been talking about arming the borders, or where most likely these people are coming in. I'm sorry, but I think we're in such a desperate situation. I do agree with that. I think once you've caught coming over in a dinny, puncture the dinny, just sink it. You are invading our country. We don't know if you have weapons. We don't know your criminal history. We don't know which country you come from. We don't know what criminal organisation you might belong to. We don't know how mentally stable you are, which is insanely high chance you're all of the above. Get out. We are saving British lives, the most important lives in our country. You know, sorry, a Vida saying, and that's the way it should be as well. And anyone who's also caught committing these crimes in the UK, again, going back to the death penalty, should be dealt with on the spot. 100% agree with us. Get them out, absolutely. And if any of these people are caught committing such a disgusting crime, don't deport them. Again, go back to this one right here, not the defund, this one. 100% result to this. Because I also don't agree with this deporting people who have committed a disgusting crime. They should be dealt with on the spot, because they're just going to go back to their country and get away with it, and keep committing those crimes in that country once they're deported. So yeah, I think we need to be going a lot more hardcore on this. And again, I know I said I'd only cover 3, but I want to cover this one as well very quickly. Again, discrimination against certain types of people who come from certain countries. Again, 100% agree with this as well. If we take one example right down here with Pakistan, Pakistan is a country that should never be touched in any way, shape or form. Because, I think Count Dankula made a second channel video on this as well, but the people of Pakistan went absolutely beyond ballistic when the Pakistani government tried to put the age of consent up from being a little kid to basically a very young teenager age, which either way is absolutely beyond disgusting. And the fact that people in Pakistan were enraged by this. Enough said, I'm not interested in dealing with any of these types of people in any way, shape or form as well. Also, we've got to look at people that are from Pakistan. Pakistan has the highest rate of cousin marriage, and also has the highest rate of inbreeding, and has the highest rate of birth defects and deformities upon birth. Again, cousin marriages and shagging your own family members, that will tend to do it as well. And also, if we look at Bradford as well, they have the highest rate of cousin marriage as well. They also have the highest rate of inbreeding, and they also have the highest rate of disformities upon birth. Guess the vast majority of the people who live in Bradford, wow, the results may just shock you as well. And considering that other people might be coming from other countries who have such extremist Islamic views, as well as they have an insane crime-riddled society over there, that they just have that mindset. that you can marry a 9-year-old because, again, Muhammad said you could because he did it as well, which is beyond disgusting as well. Overall, I do think discrimination is an absolute positive thing, because I'm going to wrap the video up right now by saying this. I think the reason that we're in this situation as a whole in the UK is that we have been trying to make every single atom of reality be as fair and equal to every single person as imaginable, which funnily enough has meant that the white British people or the white Europeans or even the white Westerners as a whole are the ones that ended up with the least amount of human rights up and down the Western world, which is pretty paradoxical. But as I've said multiple times throughout my videos, that the left contradicts itself so hard where itself becomes a paradox. Again, they've tried to be as fair and inclusive and give everyone human rights imaginable, but only anyone who out of the gate gets a disadvantage, which I think everyone does, to be quite honest with you. That's just life, end of story. Life's brittle, life's hard, life has no fear or mercy towards you. Sorry, it's just the truth. But because they perceive white people to have everything at birth, they have all the money, all of the privilege, all of the rights, they have now removed all of those things, even though most of us didn't have that to begin with, and we now have very little human rights. And what the left have done as a whole in the UK and the Western world, hence why we're in this state, is created this type of utopian, dystopian nightmare heaven to live in. Understand that's one big hell of a paradoxical statement, but that's what the left have created as well. They want mass immigration. They want to live in a melting pot of multiculturalism, which again just doesn't work in any way, shape or form. They absolutely love this. They see that as utopian. We factually see this as dystopian. They see it as a utopian heaven. We see this as a dystopian nightmare. So we have this both blend of living together, of agreeing and disagreeing, which again, going back to this utopian, dystopian kind of nightmare fuel hell and heaven at the same time, depending on who you ask. And it is completely and utterly failed. And I think more and more people are starting to realise, because they've been forced to do research into the type of people committing these crimes, like Pakistani grooming gangs, for example, and are starting to realise that no, not everyone's equal, no, not everyone should have the equal opportunities, and not everyone should be treated is equal to the people that are native to that country. And I'm very glad that that shift is starting to finally happen as well, because people are getting sick to death of living in this melting pot. Their taxes going up to pay for the melting pot, so to speak, as well. The crimes, and again, getting called racist by the news outlets, the governments, the far left as a whole, going, shut up, you evil far-right racist, bigot, Zionist, homophobic, Islamophobic, misogynistic, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And I am very glad that there seems to be a massive swing towards the right, because the UK as a whole has always been right-wing and based. Maybe not so much for the past 60 years, but throughout its history, it has definitely been that. And I think we're starting to go back to a more traditional British way of living, which I cannot wait to go for. Just before I wrap this video up, I would like to say that I really do hope Restore Britain does become a full-blown political party and does run in the next general election, and I would like to see Rupert Lowe win, as long as he keeps his promise with everything that he says or will say going forward. Now, bear in mind, he's a politician. You can't 100% trust politicians, but yeah, this was one hell of a kind of complicated ranting video, but there was a bit more to cover than my previous video talking about self-defense. But yeah, I really do think we need to discriminate. And again, that goes for firearms. If you show up as a roadman with one of those bin bag black puffer jackets looking for a firearm license, get to fuck, essentially. Nope. And I think that definitely needs to come back, because we're not all equal. Some people are better than others. Some people are just more psychopathic than others, and you know, they have to be treated accordingly as well. Hence why democracy doesn't really work. But anyway, I'm going to wrap the video up there. There were many other things I was wanting to cover, and I'm more sure Rupert Lowe will release more things going forward, and I might make a part 3 on this. But if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, hit the bell notification, and leave a comment down below if you agree or disagree with anything that I've said, or you think I've missed anything of key importance as well. If you want to go check out my previous video talking about castle doctrine and the right for self-defense and why I believe we need to bring back the British Second Amendment, please go check that video out. It's my most successful video of all time. Again, thank you so much for the support in all my videos ever. Again, love every single one of you. If you want to go follow me on any of my social media platforms, you can find me right here over on X at rant-A-holic. You can go check me out right here as well. And of course, you can go check out my other videos on here on my YouTube channel. If you would also like to follow me on Discord, I keep up with a lot more right-wing news, and I have a bot that spams all sorts of news from the UK. We have separate tabs for UK news, EU news, and American news, and other news from other parts of the planet as well. And it is updated with more truthful, more biased, non-biased news whatsoever. And it gives you a much more direct link to genuinely truthful news. So if you want to go join my Discord server, links in the pinned top comment along with my X or Twitter account. But yeah, I love yous all, and as always, keep on rolling. Have a great day and a better week to follow. See yous!